Hi Carmen, how are you doing today?
My day is wonderful. In school today, I had English, math, history, and data science. I love data science. It is so fun, but I have so many questions.
Okay, my Carmen. You are so smart and questions are always good. What kind of question did you have today?
Yay! I'm excited. Okay, first question. What is Granger causality, and why is it important in econometrics?
Great question. Granger causality is a statistical concept that helps us understand if one variable can predict another variable. In econometrics, it's essential because it allows us to analyze how changes in one economic variable might affect another. For example, we can explore if changes in interest rates influence consumer spending.
Oh, I get it. So, it helps us see if one thing can tell us what will happen to something else, right?
Exactly. You're catching on fast. It helps us see if there's a relationship between variables that goes beyond just observing patterns.
Cool. Can you give me an example of how Granger causality is used in a business setting?
Of course. Let's say a big clothing company wants to determine how changes in the price of cotton impact their sales. They can use Granger causality to analyze historical data. By studying how past changes in cotton prices relate to changes in their sales, they can make better predictions and adjust their strategies accordingly.
So, it helps them make smarter decisions by looking at what happened before.
Exactly. It helps businesses make informed decisions by understanding how variables interact and influence each other.
Can Granger causality also be used to predict stock market movements?
Absolutely. Stock market analysts often use Granger causality to examine the relationships between various financial indicators and stock prices. For example, they might study whether changes in oil prices, interest rates, or company earnings can predict stock market movements.
Wow, that's interesting. Can you give me an example of how Granger causality might be used to predict something else?
Sure. Let's consider a transportation company. They can use Granger causality to analyze how changes in fuel prices affect their operational costs. By studying the relationship between historical fuel price changes and their expenses, they can make better budgeting decisions and plan for potential fluctuations in costs.
Ah, I see. So, they can figure out if fuel prices going up or down will affect how much they spend.
Absolutely. They can use Granger causality to understand how changes in fuel prices can impact their overall expenses and adjust their strategies accordingly.
Can Granger causality be used in other fields besides business and economics?
Yes, indeed. While it's commonly used in business and economics, Granger causality can also be applied in fields like neuroscience, social sciences, and even climate science. It helps researchers understand the relationships between variables and make predictions.
That's amazing. Can I learn more about how it's used in those fields?
Absolutely. We can explore those fields in more detail later. Granger causality is a powerful tool that has applications in various disciplines.
Can you explain how the statistical test for Granger causality works?
Absolutely. The statistical test for Granger causality involves comparing two models to determine if one variable significantly improves the prediction of another. Let's use an example to explain it further.
Yes, please.
Let's say we have two variables, A and B. To test if a Granger causes B, we create two models. Model 1 includes lagged values of both A and B, while Model 2 only includes lagged values of B.
What are lagged values?
Great question. Lagged values are the past values of a variable. For example, if we are studying data monthly, a lag of 1 would be the previous month's value, a lag of 2 would be 2 months ago, and so on.
I see.
Now, we analyze the performance of these two models. We use a statistical test, like the F-test or chi-square test, to compare their predictions. The test helps us determine if adding the lagged values of variable A improves the prediction of variable B significantly.
So, if including A's lagged values makes the prediction better, then a Granger causes B?
Exactly. If the statistical test shows that Model 1, which includes lagged values of both A and B, performs significantly better than Model 2, which only includes lagged values of B, then we can conclude that a Granger causes B.
Can you give me an example of how this test is used in a real-world scenario?
Sure. Let's consider a marketing company that wants to analyze the effectiveness of different advertising channels on sales. They collect data on sales and advertising expenses for television, A, and online ads, B. By applying the Granger causality test, they can determine if changes in TV ad expenses significantly improve the prediction of sales compared to using only online ad expenses.
That's interesting. So, they can find out which advertising channel has a stronger impact on sales.
Yes, exactly. The test helps them understand if changes in one advertising channel provide valuable information for predicting sales beyond what the other channel alone can provide.
This is really cool. Can I try to think of my own example?
Absolutely. I encourage you to think of examples where Granger causality can be applied. It's a great way to deepen your understanding and see how it can be relevant in different situations.
Okay, I'll think about it. Thank you for explaining everything so well.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help you understand Granger causality better. Remember, curiosity and asking questions are fantastic ways to learn and explore new concepts. Feel free to ask me anything else you'd like to know.
I will. Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. It's great to see your curiosity and eagerness to learn. Granger causality is an important concept, and I'm sure you'll discover even more fascinating aspects as you continue your studies.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's lecture on Granger causality and its application within an econometrics environment, particularly in a large financial technology company. Granger causality is a statistical concept developed by Clive Granger, a Nobel laureate in economics, and it plays a significant role in understanding predictive relationships between variables. In the context of our financial technology company, Granger causality can be a powerful tool for analyzing and forecasting financial data, helping us make more informed decisions. At its core, Granger causality measures the extent to which one time series can predict another time series. It allows us to determine whether the past values of a variable provide information that improves the prediction of another variable, beyond what can be predicted using only its own past values. To apply Granger causality within our econometrics environment, we follow a series of steps. First, we identify the variables of interest, those that we suspect may have a causal relationship. For example, we might want to investigate if changes in the stock market, X, can help predict changes in consumer spending, Y. Next, we specify the order of the autoregressive model, AR model, to be used for the test. This involves determining the appropriate number of lagged values of both X and Y to include in the model. The order of the model is crucial, as it affects the accuracy of the predictions. Once we have specified the model, we fit autoregressive models to both X and Y separately based on their lagged values. These models capture the relationship between the variables over time. The next step is to conduct a statistical test, such as the F-test or chi-square test, to compare the performance of two models. The first model includes lagged values of both X and Y, while the second model includes only lagged values of Y. The test examines whether the inclusion of lagged values of X significantly improves the prediction of Y. If the statistical test reveals a significant improvement in prediction when X is included, we conclude that X Granger causes Y. This finding suggests that past changes in the stock market provide valuable information for predicting consumer spending. However, it's important to note that Granger causality does not imply a direct causal relationship in the traditional sense. It indicates a predictive relationship, but there may be other factors at play that influence both variables or a common underlying cause that affects them both. By understanding these predictive relationships, we can enhance our forecasting models, develop more accurate risk assessments, and make better informed investment decisions. Granger causality helps us uncover hidden patterns and dependencies within financial data, enabling us to gain a competitive edge. In conclusion, Granger causality is a valuable tool in the econometrics toolkit of our financial technology company. By leveraging this statistical concept, we can unlock valuable insights from financial data and make data-driven decisions that drive our success.
Can you give me an example of how Granger causality is used in a business setting?
Of course. Let's say a big clothing company wants to determine how changes in the price of cotton impact their sales. They can use Granger causality to analyze historical data. By studying how past changes in cotton prices relate to changes in their sales, they can make better predictions and adjust their strategies accordingly.
So, it helps them make smarter decisions by looking at what happened before?
Exactly. It helps businesses make informed decisions by understanding how variables interact and influence each other.
That's cool. Can Granger causality also be used to predict stock market movements?
Absolutely. Stock market analysts often use Granger causality to examine the relationships between various financial indicators and stock prices. For example, they might study whether changes in oil prices, interest rates, or company earnings can predict stock market movements.
Wow, that's interesting. Can you give me an example of how Granger causality might be used to predict something else?
Sure. Let's consider a transportation company. They can use Granger causality to analyze how changes in fuel prices affect their operational costs. By studying the relationship between historical fuel price changes and their expenses, they can make better budgeting decisions and plan for potential fluctuations in costs.
Ah, I see. So, they can figure out if fuel prices going up or down will affect how much they spend?
Absolutely. They can use Granger causality to understand how changes in fuel prices can impact their overall expenses and adjust their strategies accordingly.
Can Granger causality be used in other fields besides business and economics?
Yes, indeed. While it's commonly used in business and economics, Granger causality can also be applied in fields like neuroscience, social sciences, and even climate science. It helps researchers understand the relationships between variables and make predictions.
That's amazing. Can I learn more about how it's used in those fields?
Absolutely. We can explore those fields in more detail later. Granger causality is a powerful tool that has applications in various disciplines.
Thank you for answering all my questions. I feel like I understand Granger causality much better now.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. It's great to see your curiosity and eagerness to learn. Granger causality is an important concept, and I'm sure you'll discover even more fascinating aspects as you continue your studies.
Can you explain how the statistical test for Granger causality works?
Absolutely. The statistical test for Granger causality involves comparing two models to determine if one variable significantly improves the prediction of another. Let's use an example to explain it further.
Yes, please.
Let's say we have two variables, A and B. To test if a Granger causes B, we create two models. Model 1 includes lagged values of both A and B, while Model 2 only includes lagged values of B.
What are lagged values?
Great question. Lagged values are the past values of a variable. For example, if we are studying data monthly, a lag of 1 would be the previous month's value, a lag of 2 would be 2 months ago, and so on.
I see.
Now, we analyze the performance of these two models. We use a statistical test, like the F-test or chi-square test, to compare their predictions. The test helps us determine if adding the lagged values of variable A improves the prediction of variable B significantly.
So, if including A's lagged values makes the prediction better, then a Granger causes B?
Exactly. If the statistical test shows that Model 1, which includes lagged values of both A and B, performs significantly better than Model 2, which only includes lagged values of B, then we can conclude that a Granger causes B.
This is really cool. Can I try to think of my own example?
Absolutely. I encourage you to think of examples where Granger causality can be applied. It's a great way to deepen your understanding and see how it can be relevant in different situations.
I'll think about it. Thank you for explaining everything so well.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help you understand Granger causality better. Remember, curiosity and asking questions are fantastic ways to learn and explore new concepts. Feel free to ask me anything else you'd like to know. You are all so smart. You are well on your way to learning skills that are relevant for the data science field.
Welcome, Carmen. We are more than happy to have you at our company today for this interview.
I am also happy to be here.
I'd like to discuss your experience with causal inference, particularly in a large fintech organization. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I have experience in applying causal inference in a fintech environment, and I'm excited to discuss it with you.
Great. Let's start with a basic question. How have you utilized causal inference in the past to evaluate the effectiveness of marketing campaigns for financial products?
In my previous role, we used causal inference techniques to evaluate the impact of marketing campaigns for financial products. For example, we conducted randomized controlled trials where we randomly assigned customers to receive different marketing treatments. By analyzing the outcomes, such as conversion rates or customer engagement, we were able to estimate the causal effects of different campaign strategies and identify the most effective approaches.
That's interesting. Could you provide a specific example of a marketing campaign where you applied causal inference and how it influenced decision-making?
In one instance, we wanted to assess the impact of personalized email campaigns on customer acquisition for an investment platform. We conducted an experiment where we randomly assigned customers to receive either personalized emails or generic emails. By comparing the conversion rates of the two groups, we were able to estimate the causal effect of personalization. The results showed a significant increase in customer acquisition with personalized emails, leading us to prioritize personalization strategies in future marketing campaigns.
Excellent. Moving on to financial risk management, how have you used causal inference to analyze the impact of market factors on investment portfolio performance?
In financial risk management, understanding the causal relationship between market factors and portfolio performance is crucial. We used causal inference techniques, such as instrumental variable analysis, to address endogeneity issues. For example, we examined the impact of interest rate changes on bond portfolio returns. By identifying relevant instrumental variables, such as changes in central bank policies, we estimated the causal effects of interest rate movements on portfolio performance, helping us make more informed investment decisions.
Fascinating. Could you describe a specific investment decision that was influenced by your application of causal inference in risk management?
Certainly. We were evaluating the potential impact of changes in oil prices on energy sector stocks within our investment portfolio. By conducting a panel data analysis and accounting for relevant confounding factors, such as macroeconomic indicators or industry-specific events, we estimated the causal effect of oil price fluctuations on stock performance. Based on our findings, we adjusted our investment strategy to optimize exposure to the energy sector, considering the expected impact of oil price movements on portfolio returns.
Impressive. Let's move on to credit risk assessment. How have you applied causal inference to analyze the impact of borrower characteristics on loan default rates?
In credit risk assessment, causal inference helps us understand the relationship between borrower characteristics and loan default rates. We employed techniques such as propensity score matching to address selection bias and estimate the causal effects. For instance, we wanted to examine the impact of credit scores on mortgage default rates. By matching borrowers with similar propensity scores but different credit scores, we estimated the causal effect of credit scores on default rates, enabling us to refine credit risk models and make more accurate lending decisions.
That's insightful. Can you provide an example where you used causal inference to improve credit risk assessment in a specific lending scenario?
Certainly. We were analyzing the impact of employment stability on personal loan default rates. Using a natural experiment approach, we leveraged regulatory changes in the employment sector that led to temporary job stability variations. By comparing loan default rates before and after these changes and accounting for other relevant factors, we estimated the causal effect of employment stability on default rates. This information helped us refine our credit risk models, allowing for more accurate assessment of loan applications and better risk management.
Very interesting. Let's now focus on customer behavior analysis. How have you employed causal inference to understand the impact of user engagement with fintech applications on customer retention rates?
Customer behavior analysis is crucial in fintech, and causal inference helps us understand how user engagement affects customer retention rates. In one instance, we used instrumental variable analysis to address endogeneity and estimate the causal effect of app engagement on retention. We identified an instrumental variable related to the timing of app updates, which influenced engagement levels but was unrelated to unobserved factors affecting retention. By analyzing the data and accounting for this instrumental variable, we estimated the causal effect, guiding us in designing strategies to
Impressive approach. Can you provide a specific example of how your analysis of customer behavior using causal inference influenced a fintech company's decision-making?
Absolutely. In a mobile banking application, we wanted to assess the impact of push notifications on customer engagement and retention. By conducting an experiment, where we randomly assigned customers to receive either personalized or generic push notifications, we estimated the causal effect of personalization on user behavior. Our findings showed that personalized notifications led to higher engagement and improved retention rates. Based on these results, the company implemented personalized notification strategies, resulting in increased customer satisfaction and improved retention metrics.
Excellent. Now, let's delve into fraud detection. How have you utilized causal inference techniques to analyze the impact of fraud prevention measures on false positive rates in a fintech environment?
Fraud detection is a critical aspect of fintech, and causal inference helps us understand the impact of fraud prevention measures on false positive rates. We employed techniques like propensity score matching to estimate the causal effects. For example, we wanted to assess the impact of a new fraud detection algorithm on false positive rates in credit card transactions. By matching transactions with similar propensity scores but different treatment, i.e., algorithm usage, we estimated the causal effect of the algorithm on false positives, guiding us in fine-tuning the fraud detection system.
Fantastic. Finally, how have you applied causal inference to optimize pricing strategies for financial products in a fintech organization?
Pricing optimization is critical in fintech, and causal inference techniques help us understand the impact of pricing strategies on customer behavior. For instance, in a lending platform, we conducted experiments where we randomly assigned different interest rates to loan applicants. By analyzing the data and accounting for relevant factors, we estimated the causal effects of different interest rates on loan approval rates, loan volume, and profitability. This information allowed us to optimize pricing strategies, balancing risk and return while attracting borrowers and maintaining an edge.
Well done. Can you provide a specific example where your application of causal inference and pricing optimization influenced a fintech organization's decision-making?
Certainly. In a robo-advisory platform, we wanted to optimize the pricing structure for different service tiers. Using causal inference techniques, we estimated the causal effect of price changes on customer behavior, such as account signups, investment amounts, and customer retention. By conducting experiments and analyzing the data, we were able to identify the pricing structure that maximized customer acquisition and long-term profitability. This influenced the organization's decision-making, leading to the implementation of a revised pricing strategy that attracted more clients.
Excellent. You provided comprehensive responses, and it's clear that you have a strong grasp of causal inference and its application in a fintech environment. Thank you for sharing your experiences and insights. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you for the opportunity to discuss my experience with causal inference. I'm excited about the potential of this field and how it can drive data-driven decision-making in the fintech industry. If you have any further questions or need additional examples, I'm here to assist.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today and for your comprehensive insights. I must say, your depth of knowledge and hands-on experience have given us a lot to consider.
I appreciate the opportunity to share my experiences. I enjoyed our conversation, and I'm excited about the prospect of bringing my skills to your team.
That's great to hear. Our team will be in touch soon with the next steps in the process. Regardless of the outcome, I hope you continue to leverage your impressive skills in the field of big data. Best of luck with your job search and future endeavors.
Thank you for your kind words. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a great day.
You too. Goodbye for now.
Hi Carmen. Good morning.
Good morning, Alexandra. I am always happy to bump into you. How are you?
I heard you've been working on applying Granger Causality in our latest econometric project. I'm really curious to know more about it. Could you explain how you've been utilizing Granger Causality in this specific project?
Absolutely. In this project, we're investigating the relationship between interest rates and stock market performance. Granger causality analysis has been instrumental in understanding the causal dynamics between these variables. By analyzing the lagged effects of interest rates on stock market returns, we can determine if changes in interest rates Granger cause changes in stock prices. This helps us identify the lead-lag relationships and gain insights into how monetary policy influences stock market behavior.
That's fascinating. Can you provide a specific example that illustrates the findings you've discovered through Granger causality analysis in this project?
Certainly. One interesting finding is that we discovered a unidirectional Granger causality relationship from interest rates to stock market returns. Specifically, when we analyzed the historical data, we found that changes in interest rates in the previous period had a significant impact on stock market returns in the current period. This suggests that interest rate fluctuations can influence investor sentiment, borrowing costs, and ultimately impact stock market performance. By uncovering this relationship, we can better understand how changes in interest rates may drive the stock market.
That's really insightful. How do you ensure the statistical significance and reliability of the Granger causality results in your analysis?
Great question. To ensure the statistical significance and reliability of the Granger causality results, we conduct rigorous hypothesis testing. We start by specifying the null hypothesis, which assumes that there is no Granger causality between the variables. Then, we perform statistical tests, such as the F-test or chi-square test, to evaluate the significance of the causal relationships. In addition, we carefully consider the choice of lag order to capture the temporal relationship between variables. We typically employ information criteria, such as Akaika Information Criterion, AIC, or Bayesian Information Criterion, BIC, to determine the optimal lag length that minimizes model complexity while capturing the essential dynamics. By conducting these tests and selecting appropriate lag orders, we can ensure that the Granger causality results are statistically robust and reliable, providing meaningful insights into the relationships between the variables.
That makes sense. Are there any challenges or limitations you've encountered when applying Granger causality in this project or previous projects?
Absolutely, there are a few challenges and limitations to consider. One common challenge is the presence of non-stationarity in the time series data. Non-stationary data can lead to spurious or misleading Granger causality results. To address this, we employ techniques such as differencing or detrending to make the variables stationary before conducting the analysis. Another limitation is the potential for omitted variable bias. Granger causality analysis only captures the causal relationships between the variables included in the model. If there are unobserved or omitted variables that influence both the causal variable and the dependent variable, it can lead to spurious causality results. To mitigate this, we carefully select relevant variables based on domain knowledge and explore potential confounders. Lastly, Granger causality analysis assumes linearity and may not capture nonlinear relationships between variables. In cases where nonlinearity is suspected, we may consider applying nonlinear time series models or exploring alternative methods like Granger causality in the frequency domain.
Thank you for sharing those insights. It's always important to be aware of the limitations and challenges in any analysis. Can you tell me about any specific strategies you've employed to address these limitations and ensure the validity of the Granger causality results?
Absolutely. When dealing with non-stationary data, we employ techniques such as differencing or detrending to transform the variables and make them stationary. This helps ensure that the statistical properties of the variables remain constant over time and reduces the risk of obtaining spurious causality results. To address the potential issue of omitted variable bias, we apply econometric techniques such as instrumental variables or control variables to control for confounding factors. By including additional variables that may be correlated with both the causal variable and the dependent variable, we can account for potential omitted variable bias and obtain more reliable results. When it comes to capturing nonlinear relationships, we explore alternative methods such as nonlinear Granger causality tests or consider other nonlinear models that are more suitable for capturing complex interactions. These techniques allow us to expand beyond the linear assumptions and identify nonlinear causal relationships that may exist in the data.
That's really interesting. Have you encountered any scenarios where the Granger causality analysis revealed unexpected or counterintuitive causal relationships between variables?
Absolutely. In one project, we examined the relationship between consumer sentiment and stock market returns. Initially, we hypothesized that changes in consumer sentiment would Granger cause changes in stock market performance. However, the analysis revealed no significant Granger causality in that direction. Surprisingly, we found that changes in stock market returns Granger caused changes in consumer sentiment. This counterintuitive finding led us to further investigate and uncovered a phenomenon known as feedback trading. This unexpected result provided valuable insights into the dynamic interplay between consumer sentiment and stock market movements, informing marketing strategies and investor sentiment analysis. Data Scientist A, that's a fascinating example. It shows how Granger causality analysis can sometimes challenge our initial hypotheses and uncover hidden relationships. Can you provide another concrete example of how Granger causality has been applied in a different project within our organization?
That's a fascinating example. It shows how Granger causality analysis can sometimes challenge our initial hypotheses and uncover hidden relationships. Can you provide another concrete example of how Granger causality has been applied in a different project within our organization?
Certainly. In another project, we explored the causal relationship between online advertising expenditure and website traffic. By applying Granger causality analysis, we found evidence of a bidirectional relationship. Changes in advertising expenditure Granger caused changes in website traffic. Data Scientist A, that's a fascinating example. It shows how Granger causality analysis can sometimes challenge our initial hypotheses and uncover hidden relationships. Can you provide another concrete example of how Granger causality has been applied in a different project within our organization? These findings were particularly valuable for optimizing advertising strategies and budget allocation. By understanding the reciprocal relationship between advertising expenditure and website traffic, we could identify opportunities to maximize the return on investment by strategically adjusting advertising budgets based on website traffic patterns.
That's a great example. It shows how Granger causality analysis can uncover actionable insights for marketing strategies. Thank you for sharing that. In your experience, how have stakeholders typically responded to the results and insights derived from Granger causality analysis?
Stakeholder responses can vary depending on the specific project and the stakeholders involved. However, in general, stakeholders appreciate the insights that Granger causality analysis provides. By revealing causal relationships between variables, stakeholders gain a better understanding of the drivers and dynamics within the system under investigation. The actionable insights derived from Granger causality analysis are particularly valuable. Stakeholders often use these insights to inform strategic decision-making, optimize resource allocation, or refine forecasting models. The clear identification of causal relationships helps stakeholders make more informed and evidence-based decisions, ultimately leading to improved outcomes and performance.
That's great to hear. It's rewarding when the insights from Granger causality analysis have a tangible impact on decision-making. Before we wrap up, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I have a question. How does our organization typically handle the integration of Granger causality analysis with other statistical techniques or machine learning algorithms? I'm curious about the extent to which we combine Granger causality with other approaches to enhance our analytical capabilities.
That's a great question. At our organization, we value a multidisciplinary approach to data analysis. We recognize that Granger causality analysis provides valuable insights into causal relationships, but we also understand the importance of combining it with other techniques to gain a comprehensive understanding of complex systems. In practice, we often integrate Granger causality analysis with other statistical techniques such as regression analysis, time series modeling, or panel data analysis. This integration allows us to leverage the strengths of different methods and capture a broader range of relationships and dynamics within the data. Moreover, we also explore the combination of Granger causality analysis with machine learning algorithms. By incorporating machine learning techniques like random forests, neural networks, or support vector machines, we can capture complex patterns and nonlinear relationships that may be missed by traditional econometric methods alone. This integration of Granger causality with machine learning further enhances our predictive capabilities and opens up opportunities for more sophisticated analysis. By combining Granger causality with other statistical and machine learning techniques, we can leverage the complementary strengths of these methods and gain deeper insights into the complex systems we analyze.
Thank you for that insightful explanation. It's great to hear that we embrace a holistic approach to data analysis. I appreciate your time and answers to my questions.
That's impressive. You've provided comprehensive answers, and I appreciate the level of detail in your explanations. It's clear that your work on this project is rigorous and well-founded. Thank you for sharing your insights and experiences with me.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could provide you with a deeper understanding of the application of Granger causality in our ongoing project. If you have any more questions or need further clarification, feel free to ask.
For sure, Carmen. It is a very exciting project and I am looking forward to seeing it come into fruition.
Hello, thanks for joining us in this deep dive into Granger causality and its potential benefits in data science. We hope you found it informative and useful. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit the like button below and leave us a comment with your thoughts or any questions you might have. Your feedback is invaluable in helping us create content that best serves you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated with our latest videos. Click on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we post new content. Also, you can become a Patreon supporter today. Until our next video, keep learning and stay curious. Thanks for watching.